Good evening, everyone. It is the 33rd episode of the BloomCast. It is November 17th, 2020. We've only got 7 weeks left before the end of 2020. And I think this is going to be my last evening in Metro Manila for a while. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be moving to La Union to get a little bit of sun because I've been stuck at home for a while. So for the next few episodes, at least, of the BloomCast, I'm going to be hosting from an apartment that's pretty close to the beach. I'm pretty excited. So you're not going to see this background for a while. It's going to be a little bit messy, I think, for the first few episodes. But I'm super excited, and I'm actually pretty nervous about doing this show from the beach, just because the internet might not be as good. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be okay. So let me introduce my esteemed panel of guests. Obviously, my name is Luis. I'm one of the founders of BloomX. We are joined today by Ramon Tayag, CTO of Bloom Solutions, Justin David, COO of Bloom Solutions, Mark Vernon, CEO of Tag Cash and Tag Bond, and Cuckoo Crypto. He is going to represent Axie Philippines and the Sando Gang. We are also going to be joined by Chris Verceles sometime within the next few minutes. He's just running a little bit late. But let's do a quick round of checks. I mean, so I guess Chris wasn't with us last week anyway. So what happened to the price? So we are let's do the housekeeping first, right? So last week we did a bet, as we always do. We were betting about what the Bitcoin price was going to be like the next time we do the show. So that's now. My bet was 16,500. Kuku, what was the price that you bet on?
16,400.
16,400 from Kuku. Ramon Tayag.
16,750.
16. That is unbelievably close. It is now 16,720 on Binance.
We have 25 minutes.
7:30.
We have 25
7:30
minutes.
now.
7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on,
Justin, were you you placed a bet, right?
He doesn't want to say.
You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah,
What was
no, I
yours?
shorted it, so it's like 15.
Hey, pessimist.
Or above.
Ooh, ouch. Mark Vernon, you were at what?
17. So close. And yet so
17,
far.
17 flat? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
17
So
flat.
okay, actually you were the highest bid on all of us. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Coach Eman is not with us tonight. Does anyone remember what the price that he picked was?
It's probably like 10,000. I don't know.
I think it went low. I think
He
he
shorted.
lower
He was wrong
than
where
what
I
it
was
was.
as well.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think 13.
Oh,
13.
okay. All right. So yeah. So
No,
yeah,
okay.
you're right there, Kuku. Let's see if anyone else in the chat got it right. I saw someone immediately jump on and say that he guessed it correctly. Who was that? Oh, here. Grant and Daya guessed 16K last week. Okay, congrats. Did anyone else kind of hit it? Like honestly, I don't think anyone
wala
else
pa.
got as close as
7:30
Sorry?
pa, right? So we have an hour.
or 30 minutes. Well, it's usually supposed to be 7 p.m. But yeah.
Okay.
So it's fine. It's okay. Yeah. It's pretty close. I don't think it's gonna move that much in the next 30 minutes or so. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about why you guys think the price kicked up so much. So let's jump to the my charts are broken again. See, this is why you need a professional like Coach Eman to do this stuff. So I'll just tell you what it was. We were at 15,000 when we ended the show. We were at 15,000 flat almost when we ended the show last week, and we jumped up basically $1,700, a little over 10%, almost 12% in the last 7 days. Ethereum, actually, you know what? Let's look at the Ethereum one really quickly, Naren, since we're here. The Ethereum one is this one on the right. So we were at 437, and then we jumped up to 463. So again, we don't have Fibonacci Man with us today. So thoughts on price activity? Justin, I know that you were bearish last week. Was that just because you were expecting a retrace, or were you looking at market exhaustion or something like that?
Yeah. A couple of the indicators were saying that it did pull back, but it paused. It more went sideways, and then I think there was a pullback to about 14.9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was about a 14.9 pullback, or sorry, not 14.9, 15.9, 15.9 pullback, 15.8 around Saturday, I think, and from there it went. So
You have to ask
yeah,
yourself.
that was but I thought it was more.
You have to ask yourself, when these guys that are buying huge amounts of crypto, like Stripe and was it Gray Capital and so on. At what point do they say, okay, at what point do we now sell it to gain, take the gains? So is it double our money, or are they in it for the long term, or because they're the ones that are going to make a dent in the market. They'll push the price down. People taking their profits.
Yeah. Right.
If someone buys at 10, do they sell it at 15 or 14.9 or something like that?
What was the MicroStrategy position on this stuff? I know that they actually didn't they say something about holding it for like a ridiculous number of years or something.
Yeah. So from what I understand, they didn't buy it to speculate on the price. It was really more as a way to retain the value of their money. And if they do sell it, it'll be because maybe they're gonna buy a business or something like worth more than the Bitcoin, from that point of view, right?
But for their capital, are they playing with other people's money, or are they actually that's their own money? They're playing with other people's money, aren't they?
It's a public
MicroStrategy. Yeah, with MicroStrategy, it's their money, and I guess arguably for Grayscale, it's the same. But it would be an extremely bad taste if they didn't have the Bitcoins you're buying their shares for, right? And that would greatly collapse the price of their shares.
He owns 80% of the shares.
Okay. So I mean, what are most people happy with when they buy Bitcoin and they sell it? What kind of percentage are most people want to look? They say, okay, I want to make 20% or 30%, and then I'll sell it. Or people just go on
about 20x.
20x, not 20%, but 20x. Wow.
I mean, I can tell you that a lot of people who, their eyes turn into dollar signs the first time you tell them about the multiples of growth, right? That you sometimes will see with crypto. But I mean, Bitcoin 20x is not even all that big if you compare it to some of the expectations from the ICOs back in 2017. They were looking at 100x.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's really gonna depend on the thing that you hate, Mark. It's gonna depend on the charts, because people like MicroStrategy and these bigger companies, they need stuff like that to justify some of their decisions.
As long as new entrants are coming in to buy more Bitcoin, then the price will just sort of skip, keep going up now. Because they're buying on news that other companies similar to themselves are buying big chunks for the future.
Right.
And then there's a lot of retail people that are just saying, well, I'm going to buy in now, make 10%, 20% come out, hope it drops a bit and buy some more, that sort of thing. But even this last week, there was probably six or seven retracements back, like $500 or so. So you could have made money on that, and people must be making money on that.
Yeah.
$500, then it would carry on going upwards.
That breakout from the 15.9 kind of retracement was right around when they opened this up.
Yeah, PayPal.
Yeah, they opened this up, and that's when it shot up all of a sudden.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder how many people are actually using this.
I don't know, and I don't think PayPal will tell you. But
They're a public
my
company. Shouldn't they be telling you?
well, they will during their earnings call, but that's not for another 3 months, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a while. But yeah, so this was the news that was kind of I think was the biggest contributor to the price jumping last week. So I think it was because PayPal, at least users in the United States, can now actually use PayPal to buy their crypto. So it wasn't just Bitcoin; it was also Ethereum, Litecoin, I guess Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen this in action, Justin? Has your account updated? I can't remember
hasn't.
which ones of us have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your is your PayPal account US based, Mark?
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right. So this
I'll
is
just
what it
log in.
looks
I'll
like.
log in now and see if
Yeah,
I
okay.
can find it. Go on.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like. This is actually a screenshot of, the screenshot from Jeremy Allaire's PayPal account where he bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. So you can see actually it's quite funny because the price of the Bitcoin here is $13,000. So he did it. He had access several weeks ago. And I guess he was sitting on the screenshot. He couldn't actually share it with anyone until just very recently. But like what we were observing before, it seems like there's no fees for buying, and all the fees happen when you actually sell the Bitcoin back. And yeah, so it sounds like that's going to be the system for a while. In the chat, Charm is saying eyes on ADA and XRP. I don't know anything about what's happening with ADA or XRP. Is ADA doing well right now? Is that let's see what the price on ADA looks like these days.
Have a look. Look.
It doesn't look like it's that much bigger than. Yeah, I mean, it seems like Bitcoin did most of the action. So it's Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of did most of the movement in the last week. But I don't think it doesn't seem like the altcoins were doing all that much. Let's see. Okay. Let's move on to the next thing. Oh, Chris isn't here yet, and this was supposed to be his. Okay, so maybe let's not do this one yet because we're waiting for Chris to actually get online. Hold on, let's see what we can do here. Okay, so if you guys were paying attention to your Axie Infinity earnings last week, you probably noticed that things like MetaMask was down for a little bit of time. Kuku, you use Uniswap a lot, no? Did Uniswap have any downtime last week?
Yes.
Okay, so
We
all of
can't
them
use
did.
Yes. Yeah, we can't use Uniswap, but there are other apps that we use to buy SLP or.
Okay.
AXS.
How else do you buy SLP? I thought it was just Uniswap and Binance that are listing it. Or other exchanges are using it now?
No, what I mean is there are other apps that are using Uniswap backend, but in the front end, they're just another app. But
okay.
the UI of Uniswap is down, so we can't. use it.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So the reason for that was because of this thing that happened, no? So Ethereum's unannounced hard fork. I'll just read really quickly some of the summaries, no? The bulk of Ethereum's DeFi ecosystem went dark earlier today after a bug in the Ethereum code split the network's transaction history. The split resulted from a code change that was inserted into a previous Geth update. Geth is kind of the node software that runs Ethereum. Some Ethereum node operators ignored the update, which ironically was meant to prevent the very split that actually occurred. So it was really weird because every exchange that we were using, all of them could not do Ethereum withdrawals or deposits for a while. So Binance, Bitstamp, Kraken, all of these guys, they had to pause all of that. And you're talking about not just Ethereum, but because of all the tokens that are built on top of Ethereum, you're talking about every single ERC20. So obviously, Tether, DAI, all of the DeFi apps, SLP, AXS, all of those tokens were suddenly just frozen until everyone was able to kind of start updating their software. And I thought that was kind of a really weird situation. It felt a little irresponsible. And right as I say that, here's Chris Verceles. So I was just talking about the unannounced hard fork of Ethereum last week.
Right.
And and Kuku was saying that Uniswap was unavailable. I know that Binance, Bitstamp, Kraken, all of those exchanges couldn't handle Ethereum or ERC20 deposits and withdrawals for a while. Could you explain for us exactly what happened here? I know that there was some kind of change in the code, and then it seemed like not every Ethereum node operator had updated their software. Is that the only thing that happened there?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I didn't dive deep into it and do an investigation too much, but they just didn't flag that there was a piece of the code in one of their updates that could have caused that hard fork. So, I mean, in terms of the processes that developers usually follow, like for example, unit testing, getting complete coverage, QA. Maybe some of that wasn't followed, right? But that tends to happen a lot in these decentralized node setups. So, but yeah, that's it. They didn't get flagged. They didn't catch it in unit testing, maybe, or didn't predict it, and then it caused the hard fork. So, yeah, not the whole network, of course, went down, but I mean hard fork. Yeah. So Infura's node, a few other nodes, but there were some other nodes running. It's just that Infura runs a whole bunch of them. So
right.
Well, I'm just gonna at least keep Infura updated. So much runs on Infura these days.
Yeah. There is so much stuff kind of depending on Infura's infrastructure.
Yeah.
I'll just read this really quickly. In the case of Ethereum, it takes a lot of time, weeks, months, to get node operators to update, even to a scheduled hard fork. And in this case, the hard fork was not scheduled. It was just unexpected. Highlighting that a release contains important consensus or DOS, that means denial of service, fixes, always runs the risk of someone trying to beat updaters to the punch and taking down the network. Security via obscurity is definitely not something to aim for, but delaying a potential attack by enough to get most node operators immune may be worth the temporary hit to transparency. So basically what they were saying was, this code update actually had a very important small little security fix. And it seems like they decided not to tell anyone what the thing that it was fixing was, because they thought that it would it would basically prevent hackers from trying to take advantage of the flaw, of the security flaw. But instead, it seems like it created more downtime instead. So that was kind of
maybe they could do temporary transparency. Not temporary, selective transparency. So they can select.
Right.
Yeah, like Infura. Just tell this is what we're going to do. And there are others a little similar to Infura. Not that everyone. And Infura is not going to take advantage of it.
Actually, what I find really funny is that there are protocols for this in the open source community. Apache does it all the time. So when there is a security risk inherent in an open source project, there are all sorts of protocols that these projects can go and use to communicate to vendors, to big users, corporate users, that, hey, there's a security flaw. This is the update. Please update all of your systems. But we're not going to publicize it because it's a big enough flaw that it could actually, have some really big consequences if hackers find out about it.
So what do you think is better, this way or the other way? I mean,
you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to responsibly reach out to all of the big players, right? Quietly.
The big players, yes.
Yeah. Quietly.
Well, they
you
will
can do
next
that.
Time. They'll learn from this one. They'll do it next time.
Yeah. But I guess that comes with like command and control, right? Centralized
Right.
organizations. The way this is being set up, like how many companies are actually hiring developers to work on ETH clients separately without having to talk to each other. So that's a side effect. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, just some other thoughts from people in the industry. Obviously, some of these guys have their own biases. Matt Corallo is very, very big Bitcoin contributor, one of the most prolific of the Bitcoin contributors. He's saying, according to this, not only did Ethereum have one of its worst bugs ever, but the devs botched the disclosure of it and didn't even mention it to likely the largest operator of Ethereum full nodes. He's talking about Infura here. Because Infura didn't find out or was not aware that there was a pretty important fix. And then Ricardo Spagni, the fluffy pony, the lead architect of Monero, he's saying, we've had to discreetly fix bugs in Monero for fear of them being exploited if the fix is made public. And this is exactly how we've gone about it. So there are different ways to do it. No, you can let people know about these things beforehand.
Well, it didn't
it's just
impact
that
the price too much, did it?
No, it did not. I guess not. Which is what happens when most people keep their Ethereum on PayPal. I think it's not affected by decentralized nodes. Yeah, so it's fine. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so anyway, so that was just interesting. I didn't really know what to make of it. I was just really weirded out by the fact that it wasn't properly communicated to the other node operators. If only Infura, even if it's just Infura or Consensus or stuff like that, just because they're so big. Anyway, okay. I skipped this, Chris, because you weren't around yet, so I wanted to kind of give this one. No, it's fine. I wanted to give this one to you because I wasn't super familiar with what happened here, and I wanted you to kind of talk us through exactly what happened. So this was a really funny headline: saddest hack in crypto. Value DeFi hacked for $6 million. So they lost about $6 million worth of, I think, customer funds. And what's really sad is that on November 13th, the Value DeFi Twitter account said, Value DeFi has the highest security, the best return, and the greatest community, simply. And then check out the giveaway, blah, blah, blah. So they've even got their NFT memorabilia with a Value Man right under there. And then literally 24 hours later, they say, the multi-stables vault was the subject of a complex attack that resulted in a net loss of $6 million. We are currently working on a postmortem and are exploring ways to mitigate the impact on our users.
Didn't the guy you gave 2 million back, right?
Yeah, okay. So, Chris, can you tell us a little bit about what happened? Yes, I read that there was a $2 million tip to the developers. I don't know what is happening there. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened here?
Yeah, sure. I'll do my best to recall. I'm just coming off a 1 hour and a half call that went too long, so just getting my head out of that.
Sorry about that.
No worries. It's my fault. I was late. But yeah, I mean, long story short, it's the same sort of flash loan, quote unquote, attack that we've been seeing over and over again, right? They just manipulated the market price by flash loaning a big chunk of capital, sending it around on various pools until the price tips in their favor, and then they drain the pool. So yeah, I mean, essentially that's the same thing that happened. So Value DeFi is a fork of Yearn Finance, Yearn. So essentially what they've just tried to do is just add their own yield farming mechanisms on top of it. And actually I found I don't know if you guys already checked this out. I found the actual transaction where they did that. So we can just follow the trail.
Okay.
It's quite long. I mean, it's confusing to read, but I don't know where do I leave it? Do I just leave it in the comments here?
You can put it. Yeah, you can put it in the comments if you want, or you can share your screen if you've got your.
You can put it in a private chat, and we can share it to everyone.
Sure, I'll just send it to Luis then.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Chris, I had a very brief chat with you guys and the Crypto PH guys about this. And I was saying, and I'm not sure if I understand this correctly. No, so the hack is that you borrow a big chunk of money from the vault in some stable coin. You take that stable coin, you put it somewhere else, And because of the loss of the large amount of stablecoin and the gain of a large amount of stablecoin in this other place, it causes a price fluctuation. And then you return, you flip it into another stablecoin, like, I don't know, whatever, DAI, Tether, whatever, and then you bring it back in, and now you've got a price gap of like, I don't know, 1 or 2% or something like that, maybe less. But if you do that enough times, you basically keep creating an arbitrage opportunity between these two systems. Is that roughly what's going on there? And then and then because they are able to do this all multiple times within the same block, neither of those two systems that they're attacking can stop them because the checking isn't going to be able to catch them. Is that what's happening there?
Yeah, and I think you touched on that with the 15-second block time between state updates in the chat. But I guess I'll just walk through it. So the way transactions are settled on a blockchain is that that you essentially just go from one state to another every block. And what's happening is there's no real-time processing in that. So it's really just checking, is the state consistent with the transactions you're putting on top of it, and does it move to the next state properly? So as long as, let's say in block 1, there is, let's say 100, let's say USDC, and in block 2, that 100 USDC is then returned to restore it, then you're okay. And whatever arbitrage you made with super arbitrage because of flash loans, that is considered valid by the network. And I guess what's happening here is that people are starting to refer to these flash loans as attacks. But I mean, I don't think that's the best way to think about it. Because because so let's say one person flash loans, one person just has a lot of crypto. They'll achieve the same effect. They can do the same thing. What's important is that number one, the liquidity pools or the decentralized exchanges that are being targeted are not relying on a single source of external data for price feeds. Because if they're relying on a single source, then that can be manipulated, whether it's flash.
All you have to do is attack the pricing source.
Or just manipulate the markets with a bunch of liquidity like they did, right? Because they're only getting the price feed from one decentralized exchange. So that's why a lot of these attacks are going for new protocols that are probably not yet, they're not yet implementing an index of price feeds, whether it's from centralized exchange price feeds or Chainlink or DEXs or whatnot. So that's one avenue that that new protocols need to handle. They need to decentralize or make an index of price feeds so that they don't just get compromised when one is down or affected or manipulated, right? And another one is low volume. If it's a low volume liquidity pool, then it gets manipulated easily, whether flash loan or not. So it's not that flash loans are an attack vector. It's just a side effect that people don't think about because it's not how traditional programming paradigms work. But what they need to pay attention to is the volume of the liquidity pool and the oracle being a single point of failure. So there's actually one thing along that to solve the oracle as a single point of failure, because even Chainlink, is a single point of failure because the data is just still coming from a Chainlink node, right? One way people are trying to solve that is they're trying to build DAOs that vote on external price feeds. They're not trying to get the price feeds by API anymore or from Chainlink SDK or whatever. They're allowing the token holders to just vote on, let's say, I think this is the ETH USD price, and then I think this is ETH USD price, and then the majority of that votes within, let's say, a certain interval of price, they accept that as the truth. And whoever voted on the outlying prices, let's say 1% voted for a super weird price, they get penalized. So that's how they're trying to solve the oracles as a central point of failure that can be vulnerable to these flash loans or crypto whales.
Couldn't you then attack it by number of votes? If you didn't happen to be a whale, you could attack it by just having more votes than most people, by colluding, for example?
So, for example, here's what UMA, in my understanding, tries to handle that. Let's say all these votes, let's say all these people vote for a certain price. If there is a dispute, one person, there are these dispute bots, and they'll check. This was a bad liquidation, or this didn't work according to what the actual price is in the real world. That will trigger an oracle price check, and once the oracle price comes in from that automated feed, then they will check who was right, the disputer or the initial order. So if the disputer was right, then they get the reward for calling it out.
Interesting.
So there's these like pros and cons, right? It's a longer process, but their logic, at least UMA's logic specifically, is that the less you call oracles, the safer the system is. The same way that you don't just automatically sue everyone and assume they're trying to wrong you, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sheila in the chat is saying, hoping Axie won't be the next target of attack since it started to gain popularity now. I read recently that Axie had started incorporating Chainlink data into their feeds. I guess because they're already starting to harden or secure their system for stuff like this. I don't completely understand why Axie needs pricing data from Chainlink. Is it isn't that just coming from the market? Why do you need Chainlink to give you price data?
Well, basically, according to the team, they need it for the randomness of. They want to assure the randomness for the reading of origin axes. For
origin.
The genes.
Okay.
Axis.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for the real time or uptime price in the marketplace. For Axie, ETH USD price.
Okay. Aldrin is saying, thanks, Chris, makes sense. Okay, so one guy at least in the chat. You have one guy in the chat at least who understood what you said, Chris.
Well, that's the thing. He's not assuming I'm wrong, so he's just voting there. And then someone will come in a dispute later when they watch the video and then comment. So
CJ Eldefonso, I hate to disappoint you. You are not going to win 2,000 Bitcoin by watching this show. That's not what we're giving away. We said 2,000 pesos in Bitcoin, but anyway, it's just like it's a kind of a big difference. Anyway. Let's move on. Actually, I wasn't done with the value DeFi stuff. Let me just do a quick. So this is what So there are a couple of things I was very, very surprised by. So firstly, value DeFi has not been around that long, right? Maybe 2-3 months. Their all-time high is $46. I was really surprised by that. So it's $46. And its all-time low was, the day after the hack. So it was $1.87. So it actually went below the price that people were buying in at the start, which is pretty intense. So I mean, again, here, like I'm bothered that it didn't go to zero. I guess like my expectation when a project loses this much of its customers' money is that it goes to zero, but it seems like there's still a few people who are willing to keep their money in value DeFi, and I'm not sure why that is. Like, isn't this the kind of mistake that would shake your faith in a project that's supposed to help you grow your money? Like,
yes.
Well, I mean, after the first BZX hack, I kept my money in.
Did you? Okay.
I did.
Okay. Was it significant? I hope it wasn't a lot.
It was an okay amount.
Okay.
But I kept it in just because I was still able to claw what I was owed back slowly and at a higher and at the promised return. Of course, it's not the same mechanic as this, right? But I'm just saying that greed is an important factor.
Okay.
I mean, I still have some. Okay, I have $40 in harvest. So, but that's like you don't even think about that. But yeah. I mean, if you think you're gonna make more, then you're still gonna keep it there.
Yeah. Okay. Ian is saying value DeFi reverse moon. Yes, that is pretty nasty reverse moon. It's something like -95% growth. It's pretty crazy. So BZX, is that a DEX? I forget which one that is.
So it's it's non-custodial leveraged positions.
Okay.
So so I think what I did was I got like a 5 times long in my ETH during the run from was it 180 to 200 something? I forget, but even through the hack, I was able to make some money. I took a risk, but like I was greedy. So and I saw it like I saw the multiples, and I was like, okay, I'm keeping it there. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Question, and maybe this is easy to answer, but if you were willing to do that, why didn't you just put your ETH on BitMEX?
Because I'm not a trader and I never used BitMEX before, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
that
you
was-
just mean that BZX is easier? Is that what you mean?
it's because I like non-custodial
You
platforms
should
way
know
better.
this. Yeah, Chris always
Yeah,
likes.
I don't like
decentralized.
2FA. I don't like. Yeah, I think so. Some popular crypto exchanges that
KYC?
we know have frozen my accounts. So
Well, I mean, I was just gonna point out, now, KYC is one thing, of course, but back then, BitMEX didn't even ask for KYC. They only started asking for KYC in August of this year.
oh
So,
yeah,
like,
because- yeah.
yeah. So you would have still been able to, do your thing on BitMEX if you wanted. But I guess, yeah. Okay, so I take your point that you wanted.
Principle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Point taken. Point taken. I respect that. I was just interesting. I wanted to kind of figure out what your reasoning for it was. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
Uh,
that also like leads into the ethos of why like what I'm building, because I find it faster to track
Yeah.
my funds non-custodially than I can talking to a customer representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially a customer representative in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I guess it's similar all around. But yes. Take your point there. Yeah.
So you can check your Ethereum and token balances, but you can't actually move them because there's a hard fork.
Well,
I guess I like knowing that I know where it went. Like I can see where
Right.
it went rather
Yeah,
than
right,
asking someone where it went. So yeah, but that's just
I mean, you've got a similar but different problem by buying Ethereum on PayPal. Like
Yeah.
you also can't withdraw it there. So just for different reasons. But yeah, okay.
But PayPal, that's a double whammy with PayPal because PayPal frees your accounts as well for
True.
all sorts.
yeah.
That is
So it's
true.
a lot
That
worse
is
than
true.
most. I don't think crypto exchanges actually freeze your account, whereas PayPal do.
We've got another question in the chat here. I don't know, Kuku. Is this a question for you? I have no idea what Aqua is. Is that an Axie question?
Yeah, that's an Axie question. So
Okay,
we're
what is
basically-
Aqua and why is it expensive? I have no idea how to start to answer this question.
What is that?
Well, Aqua is one of the class, or
Okay.
in Axie Infinity, one of the
Okay.
classes. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, Aqua is. I don't think it is expensive because the build, the parts, you can use it in to farm SLP in PvP. Well, basically, that's a strong Axie. So if you
Okay.
want to have a strong Axie where you can farm easily, you can win matches. Yeah, I mean,
Give me
Define expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
define
I was just gonna
expensive.
ask that. Yeah, exactly that question. What's the price range to give us a sense of what we're talking about here?
if you're going to breed it, it will cost you around 1.5 ETH, one
Okay.
piece of Aqua.
Hey,
But,
hey,
if
that's
you're going to use,
okay. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
but if you're going to, and then you can sell the children. I mean, for
That doesn't sound good.
you can sell the breeds.
Okay, that's funny.
We call it children because they're parents. So they're
No, I mean I get that. I understand that. It's a little bit like investing in a really nice breed of dog or cat and
Yeah.
expecting to be
Yeah.
able to make money off the puppies. That's
Axie
funny.
trafficking. Axie trafficking. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So 1.5 ETH is kind of what you would expect if you were breeding it, but breeding it isn't sure, right? You don't know that you'll get this particular thing.
Correct.
Right,
You have
so
to get
you're-
the right genes.
So it's by chance. Is that right?
No, not really chance, but you can get like 95 to 98%
Sure.
for the genes
okay,
when the
close enough,
research
okay.
is,
Okay,
So-
all right. Okay.
as
So
long as
okay,
you
so
breed the same parts.
okay, so 1.5 if you did the work and then you bred them,
Yeah.
how much would it go for in the marketplace? I assume double or triple that.
No, most breeders are selling it at the 7.7 breed, meaning you can't breed it anymore because the breeders don't want to sell the genes. So you can't duplicate
Okay.
the parts.
You can't
So
make
the
more
breeders
of them.
want You can't because the breeders wants to hold the genes. So they're selling it at 7 breed, meaning it's a maximum number of count of breeds. So they're selling it at 0.5 ETH at 7 breed. So because
Okay.
the parts,
So
the scales are very good.
Do you have the equivalent of a stud farm then? Like a stallion, that goes and
Yeah.
rented out to.
Yeah. You can rent.
An Axie is a stud stallion then, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool.
Chris Versailles, how does this stuff make you feel? You're trying to build a decentralized financial inclusion app. These guys are breeding crypto babies.
Well, it's a refined version of CryptoKitties,
Child trafficking.
Yeah. No, I could never relate to it because I just never played what are those games? I never played I never tried collecting these Pokemon.
Chris, you're getting
items.
old, man. You're getting old.
I just never got into it. I don't know why. Yeah.
Fine.
So I can't relate. I tried playing Axie, but I got bored.
Okay. Gerald is saying Aqua is the new meta. Is there a meta game that evolves? Is that what he's saying there?
Well, okay, let's put it simply. The number one 3-time tournament champion is a Filipino that uses double aqua team. So
Okay.
basically, most people will buy those kind of aquas because it's a champion team. So
Right.
that's why
Yeah.
the price
Yeah.
appreciates.
No, I totally get that. It's the same in any other collectible game. Like if there's a tournament winner that plays a certain style, then those cards, those types of those types of characters all go up in price because that's what everyone wants to play, right? Everyone wants to play the winners. Which is, I guess, the same thing even with NBA cards, with baseball cards, all of that stuff. No? It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But the meta keeps changing. I mean, the good thing about Axie Infinity, the meta keeps changing. So
well, it
you
has
can,
to.
experiment.
Yeah. If the meta doesn't change pretty regularly, players will start to get pretty bored, no? And you don't want the same winners over and over again. You want people to be able to explore new types of gameplay.
So what's the most amount of money that someone's made out of Axie at the moment? Is there a whale version? Someone who's a big player that makes millions of dollars or whatever. Or is it
not really
amongst everyone?
Not really millions, but let's say around 10-20 ETH, something like that, selling Axies.
You had that 300
a month?
ETH. You had that 300 ETH sale a couple of weeks ago, right? Yeah, the Mystic.
In the Philippines, around that ballpark, with 20 to 30 ETH made from selling Axies. But other parts
per
of
month,
the world, no, not a month.
month?
Probably
Total.
total.
Okay.
But other Axies are being sold at crazy prices like 333 ETH, 600 ETH.
Yeah, that's $150,000.
But this is
like that.
this is an idea what's coming in the future. Ready Player One kind of setup. This is just a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we seem to have a lot of people talking about double aquas and stuff now in the chat? Okay, so I guess this is something that you people actually understand because I wasn't really sure what it was. Okay.
Now we do.
Now we do. Now we kind of understand it. All right. I still haven't. Aqua di Gio is really expensive. I was like, what the fuck? Is that like a perfume? What is that?
Perfume.
It's like a eau de cologne. What is that? That's funny. Okay.
Well, I mean, bring in rarity. The build, the parts are rare, and the genes, the breeders are keeping it. So. Hence the price appreciation, and of course the tournament champion is using it. But last time, the build is different. He's using a different kind of build, and the price went up for that kind of team again. So it's like endorsing a team, and then
I'm interested in this because I'm on Tagbon. I'm changing the setup I've got, so you can create 1155 ERC 1155 tokens for no cost. I mean, it's still the cost on Ethereum gas cost. But I want people to come up with interesting game mechanics to make this work. So you can create your NFTs, but you still need another contract to actually have those NFTs interact with each other follow long lines, right? How long does it take on average to come up with that whole structure? So then you can keep adapting it, or do you have to put everything in stone right at the beginning and see where it goes? I mean, how
I
long
don't
does
think
it
the
take to
gameplay.
build?
Yeah, the gameplay mechanics aren't on the blockchain, right? It's just the ownership of the Axies themselves that are on the blockchain.
No,
Right?
soon they're going to open it. I mean, you can create your own games within the Axie Infinity metaverse. So it's like
Interesting.
Decentraland. So,
Yeah.
for example,
So
I want to
with
create. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, with the ERC 1155, for example, I messed around with a contract to create a random one. So you create one, and you're not sure what you're going to get, and it has a certain score, and then you can use those figures inside. Basically,
Right.
it's 26 letters with a different score of 1 to 10. So you have an overall score, and then you can trade 26 letters, not trade, but use them in a game to play against in any kind of game mechanic. So something that was quite flexible, but. So basically you need to create the mechanics offline, so it's faster, or you can use maybe a side chain. That's what I was interested in. Should you create it all off chain, so for the speed, and then the ownership is as it is. Well, I mean, Chris would actually give a better viewpoint of this because he likes everything to be decentralized.
Yeah.
What do you think of the decentralized centralized mix here, Chris?
In light of what you just mentioned, I think it makes sense to just keep the tradable assets on chain and keep the actual game logic on a centralized server, because like the game logic, you need to adjust that dynamically, right? And that's not something like a DAO would vote on, right? Should I adjust the, I don't know, it's a good example. I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Just game balancing. Game balancing is not something that you can put in stone on the blockchain because you'd never get it right the first time. It's impossible.
But the problem is that you're going to come across legal problems with gambling. You're buying something, you put it in, you got gamer skill or whatever, and it's illegal in Philippines. You're taking value out and selling it. So that is gambling. Any lawyer would tell you it's gambling.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how, if you had it all on chain, then you couldn't really say, it's beyond our control. It's all on chain. A bit like
you can't. Not everything can be Forsage, right? There are some. There are some. There are some applications that are too complex to put in a smart contract. It just wouldn't work in this case. And also, I think that the biggest. I would say that the biggest priority of the Axie developers is to make a game that is fun, that continues to be compelling and fun to play, right? So. You have to be able to keep and makes money, of course. So you have to keep being able to adjust the gameplay mechanics as more and more people use it, and then you start to realize what it needs to be.
Axie Infinity is small. If it gets huge and there's billions of dollars involved, that's when the companies that are already in this, like AppKick or whatever, they're going to say, well, we don't like this interference. We're going to have lawyers come in and basically investigate more.
Yeah. And the version of the game right now is still in alpha. So
It's funny. So Aldrin Rabino is saying Axie Infinity is a fork of Hearthstone on the blockchain. I mean, he's making a joke here, but like, so I play Hearthstone I played it at an almost semi-professional level, and I can tell you that they change the rules nearly every other month, because they're constantly finding issues with gameplay rules, so they have to keep adjusting it because people are finding ways to abuse things. Maybe there are bugs that they didn't foresee, and I can't imagine that. So Hearthstone is built by Blizzard, one of the largest game developers in the world, no? And they can barely get their game rules, they can barely get it solid enough to not update every few months. So I feel like Axie Infinity is definitely going to have kind of similar challenges if you want to make this really big.
Can I have someone put a comment in? I can't pronounce his name. RYU.
Yeah, I like
Ryu. It's attorney Ryan.
He's saying, just to clarify, gambling, it has to have 3 points. Consideration, doesn't matter what it is, usually value. Consideration in some form of game of chance or game of skill with the value. And then finally, the third point, value out. So the fact that you're buying them and using them, that's probably not a problem. It's the centralized point where people are actually allowing you to put them in, gamble, and take them back out. That kind of structure is that's gambling. legally. So that's where, in the future, I'm just wondering how you're going to get around. As a centralized game operator, then you're operating a gambling site.
Yeah. The point that Attorney Ryan was making, it's actually an interesting one because I didn't quite understand this the first time I started looking at Axie Infinity. You don't lose money when you lose a duel. So you only win money. Yeah. So
no one
you
loses
don't,
money?
No.
that's correct, right? Kuku? I'm saying that correctly, right? So if you and I duel and you win, you'll probably win because I don't know shit about this game. You make money. I don't lose anything, right?
Yeah.
So the only money I've lost at this point, I guess technically, is the money that it cost me to buy into the game. And
but you're not
by
losing your Axie, are you? You're using.
No, I'm not losing it. I'm not losing it. It's more of it's initial capital. It's capital that I have put in, I guess.
No, you're using the advantages of on Axie to win stuff or to do other things. So that's not not gambling. You're not putting something in and losing what you've bought, which is
correct.
That's what. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, basically, people want to win in the game because they want the recognition. Being in the top, like top ranks, and then other sponsors are giving you rewards, something like that. But you don't lose anything if you lose in the battle. You don't lose your Axie. You don't lose any SLP.
No, that's the main thing. I thought you might lose. But the thing is, if you're doing it centralized, then you'd have to transfer your Axie into an exchange or something so they can actually pass it on to someone else. That's the point that becomes gambling then. So that's good. All right.
Yeah. Henry James says, don't tag Pagcore just yet. That's a good idea. Let's not do that yet. Bri is saying Pagcore Infinity. Oh my god, the world's worst decentralized game.
Pagcore DAO.
Pagcore DAO. Oh my god, imagine the governance token sale on that Pagcore entity. Holy crap. What?
It
I
only
can't
goes
even
to the government.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Jesus, that's insane. Okay. So if you ever get tired of losing, you can sell it back to the market. Okay, that's fair, actually. But so my understanding, again, is that, so let's say I bought something, a team, no? I bought my first team, let's call it, say it cost me, let's say I bought one of those Aqua teams. So it cost me like whatever, 1.5 ETH. I don't know what the price of it is going to be down the road, right? So I could be either making an investment or I could be losing money because when I resell it back, it could be 0.5. Maybe the next tournament winner has nothing to do with Aqua, right? And it's no longer popular. So there is also kind of speculation.
More than one game being played, if there's more than one game being created in the future using the Axies, then you don't have to actually do much. You suddenly found that your Axie is worth more because another game has decided it's worth more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I have one other little question, and this is not something I ever planned on doing myself because I don't have the time. But so I have a lot of game developer friends, and we've been looking at Axie Infinity, and we were thinking that because of that game mechanic where the loser doesn't pay anything, we could actually make bots. We think it might be possible to make a bot that just plays Axie Infinity all day. And even if it loses, you don't lose anything, right? It's fine. It'll just, as long as it plays 24/7, technically, you could just, even if you only win 20% of your games by sheer randomness, that's still a positive outcome because the cost of running the bot is nothing.
The Chinese do this, they're running farms to do it. So you'd think that they would be the first one to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like World of Warcraft, gold farming, Diablo, gold farming, stuff like that, right? They've been doing it for a while. So I wonder, like, Kuku, is that something that the developers have thought? Like, what are they, what's the position on this?
Good question. I mean, because that's very timely. Recently, they just banned a lot of accounts for botting.
I see, okay. So people are trying to do it.
Yes, because, Filipinos are at home, they have internet, they just want to play Axie, and then they just can make a lot of money. So the developers are banning accounts.
When you log into when you want to play a game, do you have to log in with traditional login, or do you log in by proving that you own an Axie? Is it done via like MetaMask or something like that? I haven't done it yet.
Basically the first security, the verification process is like there's the CAPTCHA, and then there's something like you slide the bar to prove
Yeah,
the
yeah,
amount of
yeah,
what
yeah.
every
Verification.
now and then.
Yeah, yeah.
Every now and then. So to make sure
Yeah.
you're not
So
a
you
fraud.
don't have to identify yourself. You don't have to say that I am Alex, whatever, right? You don't have to say that. Okay, so
No.
that's interesting because that does leave it open for some botting possibilities. I wonder
Yeah.
So you
how
just
they
have
would.
to, you basically it's proof of ownership that allows you to play, right?
Yeah, you just
Interesting.
connect your ETH address to the game, and then make sure
Hmm.
you have 3 axes to start playing the game. And
Right.
the
Okay.
developers right now are not saying anything about the security measures about extracting value from the ecosystem, because
Mm-hmm.
people are have so many ideas, so they don't want to spill the beans and tell them, okay, we're banning this account because you're doing this. They're keeping
Mm.
their mouth shut because they want to cut those kind of activities and then ban them
Right.
in the game.
Yeah, Ramon is in the YouTube chat right now because he's been having internet connections. He's asking if you make a successful bot farm, would it lessen the rewards for everyone else? I don't know. What's the answer to this, Kuku? Like, I know that they were minting SLP in real time whenever someone
Yeah.
wins, right? So you're not
Yes.
technically lessening the rewards. However, I guess if you had a bot farm and they were just making so much SLP, and if they try to sell that SLP into the marketplace, then it makes the SLP price go down, no? So that's
Is there
how
a
you would be
quota?
lessening the rewards.
Is there a quota of how much SLP can be mined from winning?
No. It's what do you call this? There's no cap for SLP because SLP is used for breeding. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the developers are always saying it is used
It's
for
for making
breeding, not
babies, Mark.
for
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
making babies.
aqua stallions. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
where's Raf? He's going to tell me I'm going to be an Axie breeder now.
Yeah.
Baby
Well,
maker.
why not?
Baby
I
maker.
mean, yeah. That's gross.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, guys, while we were talking, the price has broken 16,800. We are now
Wow.
in the 16,900 range.
Oh! I won.
Well, we'll see.
7:30. Is it 7 o'clock, not 7:30?
Yeah, it was 7 o'clock. It was supposed to be 7 o'clock. I think Ramon was the closest at the time, but this jump has been pretty big. It looks like we'll probably be testing 17,000 by the end of
Yes.
the end of
I called
today.
it. I called it.
Yeah. Raf Padilla has a new joke for you, Mark Vernon.
Oh, no.
So you could be an
Automated baby
ABM, automated baby maker. That's really
I don't
gross,
have to
Raf.
work at it.
I don't think I ever want to see that again. Okay. Okay. Hey, so we lost two of my co-hosts, but I wanted to we didn't get a chance to do our bet for next week. So Chris, you're welcome to join us also if you want. Like, this is not really bet for money, it's just for, I guess, for bragging rights. Price of Bitcoin next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. What do you call it? The closest call from last week was 16,750 from Ramon, and he was within $30. So I guess the closest we've ever gotten it. While you think about it, Kuku, what's your bet for next week?
Next week, 17.6.
17.6. Okay, all right. Mark Vernon, do you have a number in mind?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the big one here.
20?
Nice.
Yes. It's rising
Son of a
so
bitch.
fast. You've got the fear of missing
Okay.
out factor now with bigger companies. It's going to push the price up. So I reckon 20 by next week.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. So all-time high, $20,000. If we go over 20,000, if we stay in the $20,000 to $21,000 range, that is that's explosion territory at that point, because now everyone's gonna start talking about it. Chris Vercelles, there's no science to this, by the way. We're all just spitballing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I usually tend to go with the opposite of what I think, because when I follow what I think, I lose money trying to trade.
Why he's not a trader?
I'm an expert buy high, sell low kind of guy. So my initial thought is it's gonna go to 20. So I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna just say 18 for now.
Okay, 18. That's still high, dude. That's not low, by the way. That's still pretty high. So
We're
it
almost
sounds like
17, but yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 17. Okay, so we're like, it seems like we're all all of us are kind of in a general agreement that we're in a definite bull market.
Bull run.
Okay, let's look at the chat. Oh wait, I haven't said mine. Kuku, you were 17.6, no? Okay.
6.
17.6. I think I'm
He
gonna
was right.
go.
Ramon said, well, go on. What are you going to go for?
I was gonna go with 17.8, so that I'm in between
Boring. So boring.
Kuku and Chris. Let's
Ramon
see
is-
what's Ramon at.
18 to 50.
18
where,
to 50.
where do you say 18?
18.
There you go. Okay, all right. 18 to
And
50.
he's right.
There you go.
At 7 o'clock, he was bang on. It was 17.
Yeah. It's very, very close.
7:50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Grant and Daya is saying 17.9. Michael Knight is saying 18K flat. Okay, all right. So I don't see any. Where are the low bets?
There aren't any.
I guess this guy,
Coach
James,
Coach Eman
16K
is not
flat.
here.
Can we also
Eman.
choose?
He's not here.
Can we also
Chris.
choose the price feed?
Oh, come on, Chris. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's pick the value. What's the price feed that Value DeFi uses? Let's use that one.
What are you
Someone's
using?
asked here.
Let's flash loan it on that date. We're gonna flash loan WBTC.
Nice. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So
Daniel
right
in the
now,
chat, I was going to say Daniel in the
Daniel
chat. His should you invest now? And it's not. Again, it's really up to you. But
Yes.
thanks, Chris. You can give financial advice.
Gabi is bullish.
I think that's a yes. I mean, like, the fuck, dude, you're watching
But
a
no-
crypto show.
But
What did you expect
don't
us to
come
say?
back- Don't come back to say, told me it was going up, So,
Right.
but if you imagine
Right.
this is the general state of the market, everyone else is saying, yeah, you should buy. We're going to be
Right,
no
right.
different.
Yeah. Okay. Gabby Dizon has gone under to 20,000, just 19,800, just shy. So that sounds like he's actually betting that it will hit 20K and then do a pretty small retrace.
A retrace.
Yeah, but that's $200 below 20K is so little. Like, I feel like if we break 20K, I think it just breaks through it all the way up to like in the 22, 23 range, just because the percentage becomes pretty small at that point. Let's see what the other ones are like. Zlong 17,300, 18.5. Yeah, most people are kind of betting upwards. It's gonna be an interesting Christmas for sure. When we
Either we're
see all
really
this
happy or we're really sad.
So it could be the nightmare before Christmas instead of
Yeah.
we don't
gonna
really
be-
quite know.
It's gonna be 2017 Christmas all over again, and come January, everything's bad.
Yeah. It was a pretty quiet January and February in 2018. I can say that just because everyone who had been basically drunk with their own hype juice or whatever was just like major hangover.
It's different this time. It is.
I think so. I certainly think so. Yeah. Chris, you didn't. You didn't ask us if we would do a bet on Ethereum price, but I might as well ask you since you're here. Where do you think Ethereum's gonna be over? Not necessarily next week, but like maybe in the next month. Because we've broken 400 pretty handily.
Will it hit 1,000 again? And I hold Ethereum, so I'd like to double.
Well, I mean, I don't have Bitcoin. I'm like mostly Ethereum and like tokens. So I'm super biased there. I
Feel
think
for you.
I feel like 500 is easy. 1,000. I feel like start of the year next year is 1,000. Yeah.
Okay.
I reckon.
All right.
I reckon I
Yeah.
should spend all my Ethereum buying Axies. I'll make more money out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the locking and staking pressure in Ethereum is just gonna keep going higher, because like the ETH2 deposit contract. I mean, there's not a lot. There's a lot of opportunity costs to consider when you lock your ETH in ETH2 in the Beacon chain, but there's also stake wrapper tokens that you're gonna get back from other projects building on top of that, on top of the
As
ETH2
well.
deposit. Yeah, so
how
you're gonna
much
be able
can
to
you
trade
make?
that.
How much can you make from? Say you got $1 million worth of Ethereum. How much
I
do you think
forgot.
that can
I
make?
forgot the exact projection, like the modeling. But with the minimal amount of ETH being deposited right now, the APY project is like 21%.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that's what I was
And then-
telling you, Mark. Yeah, 20
Yeah,
20%
but
early
how long
on,
would
just
that
because
last
it's not a lot yet.
Yeah, how long would it
Yeah,
last
and I say this because not because like and like I just know this from hearing about projects that are coming up. Like there are projects that are going to start selling yield tokens that separate the interest from the interest bearing capital. So imagine you apply that to, let's say, ETH, like Beacon ETH. So then you're able to trade the Beacon ETH. You're able to trade the yield token that tracks the interest on that Beacon ETH.
Okay.
So I mean, I think they're just going to keep piling things on top of that. I think Beacon ETH will become like a DeFi collateral for a while. So I feel like the locking pressure on ETH is a lot. I mean, my own project, so I'm biased, of course, involves locking up ETH. Yeah.
So you can
to
borrow.
generate-
You can borrow on the ETH on the yield ETH that you hold because you're investing it in ETH too.
Yeah, as long as you get a wrap token back. So yeah, I think the stake the selling pressure on ETH is gonna go down the longer we go. Yeah.
Cuckoo, Gabby Dizon in the chat is saying AXS $6. What's the AXS price right now? I forgot. What is it?
All I know is I sold.
0.57 US.
0.57?
And that's up
It's
from
27, 28
how-
pesos. From 10.
how much?
From 10.
How much did that
0.10.
rise in the last month or two?
It doubled. It doubled. Because
Tripled.
it only... Oh, it tripled? Is it triple? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it triple
So,
again? Will it triple again?
well, $6 is 10x. That's not triple. That's 10x.
All right, I'm all in on AXS.
Come on!
Are you, Mark? Are you really?
Are you really?
Well, look, my Ethereum is not going to make that much. It's not going to double in value very quickly.
Yeah. Who here still has their uni? And if you have uni, have you thrown it into AXS?
I
tried
never
to,
had
yield
uni.
farm.
Yeah. What did you have, Cuckoo? Did you have uni?
Yeah, I turned it to a yield farm.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a separate bag for AXS, but I'm using uni. The yield that I get from that, I use it to buy uni.
Okay.
And-
Okay.
By the way, AXS you can trade on Binance
AXS.
already.
Yeah.
AXS
Okay.
you can trade on Binance, yeah.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
There are,
Because
I
I sold
think,
my
four
AXS.
exchanges now. Yeah, 4 exchanges
Right.
now. Axie doesn't pay for any listing. These exchanges just list AXS. Even
Okay.
SLP.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, Chris. So you were saying $1,000 next year, probably pretty achievable for Ethereum. Okay. It's definitely making a run because it went up 12% in the last week. Sorry, is it 12? About 10, I think. So kind of similar to Bitcoin. And I think that there's going to be some... Do you think that staking for ETH2 is going to create scarcity for ETH itself? For ETH1, I guess? Is it a lot? Is it enough to create scarcity?
I don't think it's enough. I think DeFi will be more, if not already. And like the total amount of ETH2 staked already in the deposit contract isn't that much. I mean, relatively.
Yeah.
I think the projects like Rocket Pool, like all these other staking projects, are gonna build that scarcity up. Once that opportunity cost and mental friction is removed from saying I have to deposit 32 ETH, what am I gonna do with this for 2 years and I can't move
Okay.
it? So
Okay.
I don't know the answer to the question. I think it will over time, but not with a sudden spike. That will come from more like DeFi projects. Yeah.
Okay.
Ramon.
Okay.
Ramon, we're going to do a live.
Ramon is asking for his money because he won the bet last week. So I think I'm just gonna ignore that question so we can move on to the next thing. Okay, let's see. SLP $100, dude. I don't think that's gonna happen. I also don't think
No.
that you want that. I don't think you
No.
want that for
No.
the Axie community. That's too much.
So here's the thing. When people want SLP to go higher, then expect the price of Axies to be much higher because
Right.
the breeding cost is high right now. We're
Right,
suffering from
right.
the gas fees and the cost of SLP, and the demand is so high right now. Really, I mean, we grow from 10,000 last
Interesting.
month. Now we're 16,000. So
That's actually a
So you're
really
gonna- are you
interesting
gonna-
point.
Alex, are you going to tell us how much you've got in AXS?
Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Excess for life.
But yeah, it's all right. People ask me the same question about Bitcoin. I don't tell them either. So
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like asking someone how much money they have in their bank account.
in the
I mean,
bank.
that's a
Yeah,
little.
I know.
It's a
But
bit
you know,
rude.
I get asked that all the time. I thought I'd ask. AXS is not Bitcoin. You know, it's.
Mark, remember when I said when I tell you how much I have in AXS, then there are BIR watching us. Remember, they're listening.
Do we really have? I don't think we actually.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I don't think we actually. I hope not. I hope not. We would talk way too much about how much money we're trying to make from DeFi and yield farming and stuff like that. I don't think the BIR should be watching this show. Okay, so last. Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot that I was gonna do this really quickly. So yesterday, Bloom
Oh, wow.
launched our AXS, ETH, and SLP cash out service. So we started doing that yesterday. We've already gotten the first dozen, more than that actually. About 20 customers have traded with us already since yesterday morning. Kuku was the very first one, so I made sure that he was up and working at 8:30 in the morning to make sure he was the very first trade that we did. So far, it's all been pretty smooth.
What's the
We've tried
percentage you take? What's the percentage you
1%. 1%.
1%.
1%.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
And then we're waiving for the first 200 transactions. We're waiving the transfer fee because transferring the funds via InstaPay or whatever isn't free. So we're gonna waive it for now. But it's been going pretty well, and I believe we're able to make the life of a few Axie players a little bit easier because normally they have to go SLP to ETH, sell that ETH on coins.ph, and then kind of do the withdrawal that way. So we're doing it so that it's going directly SLP to Bloom, and then we just give them pesos. So it's a little bit shorter, and hopefully we're also giving better rates than coins.ph. If anyone's if
Absolutely.
thanks
We're happy.
thanks.
Are you gonna sell the?
Comments.
So, sorry, Mark. Yep.
Are you gonna start buying the Axies themselves? An Aqua or two, and so on.
I don't know enough about it to do that, but that sounds like an interesting next step. Like we're actually a market maker for the Axies themselves. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Luis.
Yeah.
A lot of Axie players are asking what time is the closing time for Bloom, because most of them are they sleep like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yeah. So
I
okay.
also need to buy a lot of SLPs right now. So
Interesting. So it's like this, no. So Bloom has a very small trading team. No, the team is basically 3 people, including myself. So we have a new trading assistant. Her name is Jang. She's actually in the chat right now. She's watching you guys go crazy over Axie. We're trying to do 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But that's already quite long, no, for normal working hours. So I would say, try to stick with that for now, just because we're still trying it out. We're still kind of new at this. And we're also trying to do it so that if there is any kind of problems, if there's any problem with the payment, if there's a problem with the bank transfer, it helps if it happens during the daytime, because that means we can get the customer support of the bank involved. I can't do that even at 9 p.m. I can't really do that anymore, right? So that means that if there was any problems during an evening trade, we have to wait until the next morning in order to get it resolved. So the reason why we're trying to just do it during the daytime is we're trying to make sure everyone is kind of safe. So that's it. But bear with us, please. We're working on it. We're trying to give the best service we possibly can. But in the meantime, the one thing I can guarantee you is that we'll give you better rates than coins.ph, and hopefully we're about as fast. No. So we're really we're taking this very seriously because we wanna help people liquidate their earnings into pesos. Kuhu, the thing that surprised me the most, of the 24 customers that we've gotten in the past 2 days, half of them were buying. They were not selling. They were buying Ether or AXS or USDT. So I was not expecting that. I was expecting, we actually call it the AXS cash out service, diba? Kasi we were expecting people to just cash out their crypto.
Well, Alex said there's a demand for it, so that's expected.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
does
yeah.
SLP stand for? Small love potion.
Small love
Small
potion.
love potion.
Because they get it. It helps them get into the mood to breed.
Yeah.
Get it? It's kind of
In
gross.
Tagalog, it's Gayuma.
It's
Small
fucking
love
gross.
potions are an automated baby maker. Wow. Okay.
Oh my god. So
Yeah, well,
yeah.
to answer your question, Luis, about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So probably your customers are they're buying ETH because they want to buy Axis in the marketplace.
Right.
Wait till you experience the influx of people selling SLPs. They're just waiting for the right timing right now. If it
Yeah.
crosses to 2.5, make sure you have 10 teams in your
Shit.
making sure.
Okay, I don't know if we have that many traders, but okay, we'll definitely try. So the thing that I noticed, actually we timed it kind of weird, no? So we started the service on Monday, and that was the one time that SLP price kind of dropped a little bit, and I was thinking, oh, probably people are waiting before they're gonna sell their SLP because it was a little low on Monday. But anyway, yeah, okay. So the service is open for you guys. You just go to fb.com/bloomxorg. I mean, obviously, you're already watching our show, so you probably already know where the Facebook page is. So, we're going to just aim for 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for now. But, obviously, I know you guys sleep very, very late. But at the moment, we need to sleep a little bit early because we're kind of a little older. So that's it. That's the problem, really. Okay, and that's it. That was like my final announcement. Let's see. Anything else? Any thoughts before we end the show? I'm going to start moving into the raffle part pretty quick. Mark Vernon, what are you up to next week? Are you doing anything? Are you stuck there
I'm
forever?
in lockdown. We're in lockdown here in Cyprus.
Full lockdown.
Just in the area, full lockdown. So
Yeah.
I'm working on carpentry projects, and now I've got some time to get into Axie properly. So by next week I might have a few aquas on my own team and stuff like that.
I mean, of
You-
course
you
you're
know
going to
where-
go full aqua.
You know who to contact.
Right.
Full aqua. I'm gonna go full aqua.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Verceles, am I going to see you in La Union at any point? We're starting to build a little fintech community out there.
Chris and Estando.
Actually, yeah, I might end up there for like a week just to see what's up.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me know, okay? Like,
Are you
it'll
there?
be...
You're not there now.
No, tomorrow. I'm moving tomorrow, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so next episode, I'm going to be set up in a new place.
When I'm
okay.
allowed back in, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come up to see you and go.
Nice. Yeah, please do. I think
I'm
it'll be
allowed
pretty
back
funny.
in.
When you're
Which one is
allowed back in.
allowed
Well, we don't know when that will be. But
man.
hopefully sometime soon.
They don't want me or my money over there.
Mark's gonna be the next Axie whale.
Is there a whale?
Is there a whale? Do they have whales in Axie?
An aqua whale? That makes sense.
Aqua
We have
whale.
chads and whales. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
By
cool.
next week,
Okay.
I'll be an expert.
Nice.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, you've got your work cut out for you then. Okay. All right. Let's start doing our raffle now, guys, because we've got about how many people do we have? 69 commenters in the chat. Perfect. The perfect number. We are going to draw for 2 names. Each person will get 1,000 pesos worth of Bitcoin, sponsored by Bloom this week. If you see your name called, please leave a comment in the chat so I can find you more easily. If you don't see it, well, tough luck. So here we go. I am going to roll. Where's my soundboard? I need to make sure I get this right this time. And here we go. Looking for our first winner. Ana Gonzaga, first time winner. I don't think I've ever seen this name before. I'm just going to put that right in the chat. Ana Gonzaga. Is this one of, I assume she's not Sandogang. Is she Sandogang?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. Congrats, Ana Gonzaga. Please leave your name. Leave your comment. Sorry, leave your comment in the chat so I can find you more easily. Winner number 2. Here we go. Raymart Pariawan? Am I saying that correctly? Is that one of the Sandogang people? Like this guy was the second person to watch the live stream today. Like he was there from the start, I think. That's pretty funny. Okay, so Raymart and Anna, congratulations. If you aren't in the chat yet anymore, I'll find you later. Congratulations for winning. Obviously, thanks to my panel for making this another really interesting show. Thanks, Chris, for joining us and explaining some of that DeFi stuff. I wish you good luck with Halo DAO. Actually, why don't you tell us where you guys are at with that? Are you getting any closer to a launch? When's your projection?
Well, I don't want to box myself in, but before the half of next year, you'll probably see something. We're building out a wallet, a completely non-custodial wallet. Imagine Argent for the Philippines, and that comes with the Philippine peso stablecoin. So we call it Halo DAO because it stands for Halo Halo.
Got it.
That
not Halo.
is,
Jesus.
No,
wow.
no.
Sorry, that's embarrassing. I thought it was Halo DAO. Okay, all right.
No, everyone
Halo
says it
DAO.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but essentially the Halo token is the governance and claim on consumer payments in DeFi and remittance coming into the Philippines. So it's a DAO for the Philippines specifically. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. I want you to come back on the show definitely to let us know when you guys are getting closer there. Cool Crypto, thanks so much for joining us again. How do people find you? I guess they probably know, but please remind people where to find you online.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for participating in our recent donation drive for Cagayan. We gathered around $700.
Nice.
For that, and then we're donating it to AFP and One Meralco Foundation. So you're going to send us pictures about that. So wait for it. So again, thank you, Sandogang, for watching. See you again next week, and you can find me on YouTube and Facebook.
Nice, Cuckoo. You hit over 1,000 YouTube subscribers now, no? Congrats. That's pretty good.
1,004. I think 1,400 now.
Nice. There you go. Sorry, Chris, I didn't actually let you tell people where to find you. I completely forgot. Is there a website for Halo that they can get a subscription, like a newsletter or whatever thing for?
You can go to holodao.com and then scroll to the bottom and follow us on Medium. But if you want to just message, I'm on the CryptoPH chat on Discord and Telegram, and I will not see anything else if you find me on Facebook or wherever else, because I'm allergic to social media. So
Chris Vercelis is way too decentralized for Facebook. So I mean, this show is probably the only time he gets anywhere close to a Facebook stream on any given week. So
that's true.
Consider yourselves lucky, audience, that you were finally able to see Chris Vercelis again. Mark Vernon, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm actually moving further away from Facebook. So yeah, Discord and Telegram on the CryptoPH channel, and at Mark Vernon on Telegram. Okay.
Thanks so much again, guys. I don't have any co-hosts. That's funny. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to take us out myself. Good evening, everyone. Good night, everyone, I guess. I'll see you at the beach next week. My name is Luis. This is the BloomCast. And we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for watching. And everyone stay hydrated. Bye, everyone. See ya.
Bye.